Our first story, titled, Am I the a-hole for asking my husband to turn down his dream job for my career? I'm going to be vague for privacy reasons, sorry. I, 33 female, am the breadwinner of our household. I have multiple, highly specialized degrees for a niche industry. I make 200,000 plus, with potential to get in the 600 M's range. My company has not been hit that badly by the pandemic, so most of us have kept our jobs, but we're held to strict standards. My husband, 36 male, has a broad degree/work experience. He quit his job right before the virus hit, hoping for a better job in the meantime, and I was supportive. He spent a ton of time applying to various jobs, and finally landed an interview at Organization X. This is his dream job, in almost every imaginable way. I can't be detailed. However, it's paying about $65,000 a year, which would be fine, except this job directly puts my job stability at risk. My company and this organization are adversarial, at best. My field is extremely secretive, and if clients discovered my spouse was working for a competitor, I would be permanently tainted. I wouldn't be able to get a job in the industry forever. I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but I promise you, it absolutely is not. It'd be like if I worked in protecting the privacy of celebrities, and he worked for TMZ. If he tapped my car, got into my work devices, he could use that to advance his career, and any trust I have in this field will be gone. Even if I trusted my husband not to do that, my clients and company don't. Worse, because my background is so specialized, this is the only field I can work in. I asked him to drop from consideration for this job, since if he got it, we'd lose my income. $65,000 a year cannot support us in this city. Plus, he does not have to work for this organization. Even if the job market is awful right now, his background gives him access to a wide range of jobs, but I only have this one, niche field. He was extremely angry and said I was selfish and only cared about money. I told him that if he wanted to go back to school for an advanced degree or just be unemployed for a while, I would support him, but taking this job isn't possible. He continued the process behind my back and got the offer. He wants to accept it because he says his career needs to take priority and that I wasn't being a supportive wife. I feel so betrayed, and I've contacted all relevant higher-ups in my company to inform them. I notified them as soon as he got the interview because it's better coming from my email than from a background check. I told him he could decline the offer, with me watching him physically decline it, or he could accept the offer and move out immediately. I would pay for him to stay 2 weeks at a hotel, and we would begin divorce proceedings. My company is willing to take care of all my legal fees. I feel freaking awful. I still love him. I moved decisively because this was the best way to cut my losses, but it still hurts. He called me heartless and cold. It's true that I was prioritizing my career over his, but it felt like the only option at the time. Now let's read the comment section. You're the a-hole. It's his dream job. You have a great job, but it's not your dream job. Find something else and support your spouse. If I get blacklisted from this industry, I literally cannot find another job like this. My current job may not be my absolute dream job, but it's the closest I'll get to it, realistically. It's demanding, strict, and stressful, but the company rewards you greatly for it. I have an upwards career trajectory, but if I had to leave because I became a security risk, I can guarantee that I would have no chance getting a job anywhere as nice as this, with a chance of promotion. This sounds very exaggerated. Your company is willing to pay for divorce lawyers? Seriously? You haven't actually specified. Is it against a company policy or a breach of a conflict of interest agreement? Cause if so, I'm going you're the a-hole for not leading with that very objective info, rather than the all, I'm so specialized and highly skilled, he isn't stuff you talked about. Company policy would be enough to have a logical discussion with hubs to explain why that employer is not an option. It's against our conflict of interest policy. I've heard of people in our industry being fired over it, not in our company, and I haven't heard of them in the industry since. I seriously can't emphasize how seriously they take it. They're willing to pay for my divorce lawyers because that's much cheaper than the reputation cost of just one case getting leaked. Not the a-hole. Some are saying you've decided your job is important than your husband. They're ignoring that he seems to have decided a job offer is more important than your entire career. I was ready to call you the a-hole considering we frequently see people unnecessarily prioritize their career over their spouses when compromise is possible. However, He's refusing compromise. To address the people calling this a trust issue, it doesn't matter if she trusts him. Her company and her clients don't. He knows this and chose to pursue this job anyway. If she doesn't trust someone who's willing to destroy her entire career for a single job, I don't blame her. Men aren't usually the spouse making career sacrifices for the greater good of the couple. I don't know for sure, but that could be something he's struggling with. Hijacking, sorry. Info. Opie, how did you both not realize his dream job would be the end of your career? Was it ever discussed, or is this just suddenly his dream job? I imagine he could have the same job at her company, or at least at one that is not a direct competitor. They're ignoring that he seems to have decided a job offer is more important than your entire career. It's actually worse. He has decided that, as the husband, he has a right to order his wife to give up her career. He says his career needs to take priority and that I wasn't being a supportive wife. And it isn't just Opie's career and their family income. That isn't as important as his job offer. He has decided that the job offer is even more important than their marriage. Because, really, who thinks that you're keeping your marriage after telling your significant other to give up their career because of your much lower paying job offer? To address the people calling this a trust issue, it doesn't matter if she trusts him. Her company and her clients don't. He knows this and chose to pursue this job anyway. I agree, and it goes farther than that. He has shown that she can't trust him. He continued the process behind my back. To be honest, even if he does capitulate, their relationship will never be the same again. She now knows that she isn't the highest priority in his life, and he'll forever resent her for not backing down on the issue. Not the a-hole, and I think divorce is inevitable. That's the end of the first story. The next one is titled, Am I the a-hole for not caring about my brother having a kid or his wife? So, to start, I'm 27 male and brother is 28 male. I was dating girl who we will call Pam. I really liked Pam and everything was great. I told my family about Pam and I set up her to meet everybody. When we arrived, she looked at my brother shocked. She was cheating on me with him. I was hurt by it. I know my brother didn't know, but a part of me just doesn't care. I cut him off and only talked to him like once a year. This was all 5 years ago. I learned 2 years ago that they were getting married and they invited me. I didn't go. Now, some months ago, they announced they're having a kid. He called and told me. The only thing I said was okay. I asked him the polite question of when and congratulated them. At this point in my life, I've been dating another girl for a year at this point. I really don't care about brother and Pam. I moved on and I'm enjoying life. They had their baby. I didn't visit. I just gave him a call and said congratulations again. Now yesterday, my parents called and want to meet for something. I still talk to everybody else in my family, so I was cool with them. We meet up and it did not go too well. The whole conversation was basically a get over it. Move on and be happy for your brother. Either you go visit him and make up or don't come to us any longer. I told them I have moved on. I'm dating somebody else and that they can go F themselves. I later got a call from other family members. The theme of all of their messages were telling me to move on and be happy for him. So I put all of them in a big group chat. Told them I moved on and that they can all go F themselves and to leave me alone. I blocked everybody after that. I told the person I'm dating and she said that was kind of an a-hole move. I disagree. I think they're the a-hole who won't just leave me alone. So guys, am I an a-hole? Now for more info and top comments. Info. Were you and Pam exclusive? How long had you been dating? When we dated, we were. We dated since 12th grade and it lasted until I was like 20 or 21. You dated in 12th grade and your family never met her until a couple years later? I didn't take it seriously in the 12. It took time for it to get serious. I was basically still a kid. Not the a-hole, but you did overreact. Unless your brother and his wife have made strides to make sure that you forgive them, then really the hurt isn't going anywhere because it's never been addressed. Essentially, you are the forgotten victim. Personally, I can see why you told everyone to back off, but it still could have been handled diplomatically without you having to sacrifice your position or feelings. I don't know, it sounds like Opie's biggest problem is the ex. The cheating is one thing, but the fact that they're still together and now have a kid is a continuous slap in the face. I wouldn't want to be around my cheating ex either. I could forgive my brother, but not if the ex is a package deal. What seems the worst part to me is that his entire family is on the brother's side, even though he was cheating with OP's girlfriend, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. It's actually surprising how often this happens. Sibling betrays sibling, and family can't leave two adults to manage their relationship without destroying the whole family. You didn't try to make anyone choose sides, and they still can't accept that your feelings about the situation are for you to deal with. Your parent told you they were choosing and they lost out. Not the a-hole. Although your brother didn't know he was dating your girlfriend, he kept dating her after he learned that she was dating you both, which is kinda messed up. You have every right to distance yourself from people that are a detriment to your mental health. Your situation is rough, and although your family is coming from a good place, they should respect your wishes to stay distant rather than force yourself to get over it. Although, I feel like you could have talked to them more politely rather than just telling them to F off. Now for the final story. Am I the a-hole for disallowing my son from being alone with his girlfriend? My son is 16. His girlfriend is too. They've been dating for about a year. When they started dating, it was normal and appropriate. Then, over the last several months, I've noticed strange behavior, especially around her. He's usually really talkative and emotive and energetic, but he's kind of withdrawn whenever she's around. She'd answer questions for him and finish his sentences too. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I realized he wasn't spending time with his core group of friends anymore. Turns out, it was because his girlfriend said he wasn't allowed to see them without her. He wasn't going out and doing things he used to enjoy. I asked him about it, and he said his girlfriend didn't think they were cool things to be doing. She sold his skateboard. She threw out all his drawings. We had a talk about not changing yourself to please others, and I thought she was a witch, but it was all normal teenage coming-of-age stuff. Recently, I was on the road for work, and he had on a date with his girl, so I texted to ask how it went. He didn't reply. I followed up to be sure he made it home. He called and said he couldn't reply over text because she reads all his messages and asked me to not ever text him about her. I told him that was a red flag, but he said that when things are good with her, they're really good, so it's fine to put up with her when things are bad. I'm a single mom, so I thought maybe I was being too overprotective of the whole situation, and I just needed to stop interfering. But on that same trip, I called again to ask how a visit to his aunt had gone, and he said he didn't go because his girlfriend feels like he spends too much time with his family lately. I advised him that wasn't her decision to make, and if he felt like he spent too much with family, that was one thing, but he needed to learn to tell her no, and if she couldn't handle it, she didn't deserve him. He said he couldn't do that because he was afraid of what she would say, and she's unpredictable when she gets in a state. I was still at crossroads because I know he's at an age where he needs to problem solve for himself. But a male co-worker couldn't help overhearing us talk, and he said, "Just consider, if you had a daughter instead, would you be letting a boyfriend treat her like that?" I hadn't thought of it like that. So when talking didn't work, I eventually banned them from being alone together and took her off his social media so she can no longer monitor it. A lot of men who I trust to give me single mom parenting advice are saying this was an a-hole move because my son is not in any danger and needs to learn not to let girls push him around just to get his rocks off. But the parenting instinct in me said this was a double standard placing him at risk. But maybe they're right and it's actually just the overprotectiveness, in which case, I'm the one who's making things worse. I'm at loss. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I strongly suggest getting in touch with a DV organization for advice. He is in a harmful relationship, and I don't know if you've done the right thing. I say that because you've now given her ammunition to turn him away from you. You can be made out to be the bad guy by her. This is too big for this forum, and you need to get some advice from people who understand the intricacies of harmful relationships. This is good advice. They should have resources for the therapists who work with harmful teenage relationships. Not the a-hole. Your son's girlfriend is toxic. There are so many classic red flags in this. I'm not sure how it's best to deal with when the victim is still a kid who can technically be told what to do, but has enough autonomy/smarts to figure out how to go behind their parents' back. Get him in with a counselor ASAP, and ask that person for advice on how to proceed. You don't want to alienate your son by making him feel like he can't trust you/you're not there for him. At the same time, his girlfriend is actively trying to make him feel that way so that he has nowhere to go. The men who are telling you he just needs to grow a pair are wrong, misinformed, probably ignorant/stupid, and possibly dangerous as well. The men who are telling you he just needs to grow a pair are wrong, misinformed, probably ignorant/stupid, and possibly dangerous as well. Yeah, the son's girlfriend is basically cutting him off from everyone he knows, and is unpredictable when she's in a state. The girlfriend is a danger to OP's son, and all of the guys that are telling her otherwise are part of the problem in this scenario. Please interfere. It sounds like your son's girlfriend is abusing him. Sadly, he's not BT blind. He's clearly showing signs of being abused. The whole, I need to tiptoe around her or she gets mad, and she thinks I spend too much time with family are classic lines delivered by an abused partner. And that's the end of the video. You guys has anything to share? Comment down below, hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay